What other rules to life are you playing by? Life, let's look at the bigger picture, right? We take a lot of the different spiritual teachings, a lot of kind of esoteric teachings, and you'll be taught that life is a game. So what if your life is a game? I know when you're in it and when you're in the midst of transformation and wanting to change and we're stuck in survival, when we're in that survival space, when we're in deep in the challenge, life doesn't feel like a game because you're being controlled by unconscious emotions. You're being controlled by fear. So fear is telling you this isn't a game, this is serious, this is life or death. Let's just, okay, yes, to the ego, this is pretty serious. Now let's just take a step back. Let's just have a bigger picture view of this. If life was a game, what are the rules that you're playing by? Are you happy with the rules of the game? You're the creator of your reality. You're co-creating with the magnificence of the universe. So you're agreeing to the rules that you're living by unconsciously. So in order to change the rules, you need to become aware of them and you need to take actions that are going to change them. It's extremely uncomfortable to do that. That's why most people don't do it. But the rules that society has conditioned you to live by, which, are passed down through generations and generations and generations, and the rules are designed for you to follow the herd. The rules are designed for you to kind of stay small, play it safe, not be too out there, because if you're too out there, then you're going to be seen. If you're seen, you're going to be judged. If you're judged, you might either be rejected or you might be admired, and in being admired and inspiring people, you might have to take on more responsibility. So choose your kind of flavor of fear. Okay, so the rules that you're living by, they're not serving you. If you want to be here and live your life in your soul alignment, in your highest alignment, on your highest potential, you need to learn how to make your own rules. So it can be extremely uncomfortable for us to change the rules because it doesn't feel natural. Because we're conditioned to live a certain way. Somebody who's in corporate and somebody who's in the corporate world, they've been in the corporate world for 20 years and suddenly they want to quit everything and become an artist. That's not going to be a smooth transition because you've been conditioned to show up 9 to 5. There's going to be some kind of stickiness when you're realizing that you don't have to live the 9 to 5. You don't have to be at your desk for 9 a.m. or at your easel for 9 a.m. You literally get to make your own rules up. I was having coffee with a friend this morning, and she was she got bumped into somebody in a coffee shop, and they were like, "Oh, you always look so peaceful working in here." And she was like, "Yeah, I've designed my life so that I don't have to be in one place at any one time. I can work from wherever I want in the world." And the person she was talking to was like, "Wow, I have to be at my desk for Zoom meetings all day, every day." And it's just like, you get to design your life, especially if if you are an entrepreneur, if you are in business, if you are, you get to design it how you want. And if you are in corporate and you're not happy in corporate, then you can make some changes. You don't have to live, and you see it in families where the father was a doctor, so the son's expected to go and be a doctor. Like, no, we don't have to do that. There's a family business. The kids are expected to go into the family business. No, we don't have to do that. You have a life. You have one wild, precious life. What are you going to do with it? What are the rules that you want to live by? I look at my life and the rules that I've lived by in relationships, in money, in my health, and I've had to change a lot of those rules. My health, I used to be very kind of strict runner. I used to run a lot, and it took a lot for me because I loved the competition. I loved the adrenaline. I loved the thought of, I'm going for a 13-mile run at the weekend and I'm going to end in the pub. And I had to change the rules of my conditioning to say, I don't need to be in competition all the time. And I don't have to run to feel fit and healthy, like there are other ways that I can do it, because ultimately the running was causing me stress. It was having like the opposite effect of what it was supposed to do, or what I started doing it for. So I had to change the rules. I had to change the rules, being the conditionings. And the conditionings are generally unconscious. That's why with my work, you will hear me talk about making the unconscious conscious. That is how you become the co-creator, the creator of your reality. You make the unconscious conscious and you make changes. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to become aware of the rules that you're living by. Choose one area of your life while we're going through this video. One area of your life. What are the rules that you're currently living by? What are you experiencing? How does it make you feel? What do you want it to look like? Get clear on those three things. And then rid yourself of the guilt of wanting to change it. It's okay to want to change your life. It is okay. I was always told you should be grateful for what you have. Yes, be grateful for what you have, but also be grateful that we live in this magnificent universe where we can create anything. So let the guilt of wanting to change your life go. It's okay. You don't have to relive the life of your parents. And then I want you to give yourself permission to change the rules. Give yourself permission to go into your unconscious and wiggle things about a bit so that we can change the wiring, okay? And then you're going to go on a scavenger hunt and see look at, say we're talking about money. So look at your current financial situation. Look where you want your financial situation to be. Look at the patterns that are playing out in your finances. Look at the patterns that play out in your, even in your relationships. The roots of all these things is generally linked, whether it's love, whether it's money. How you receive love is how you receive money. So if you want to go more into that, I have an amazing free download, How Your Shadow Blocks You in Love and Money. This is all shadow work, by the way. So you can download that in the description below. But go on a scavenger hunt. Look at the patterns that are playing out. Look at the emotions you feel, maybe when you look in your bank account, when you receive a payment, when you give money to somebody. What are the emotions that are there? These will give you a clue to the rules that you're currently playing out. You can go wild and write down the rules that you're currently living by. Write down the rules that you want to live by. What is the reality that you want to be experiencing in your finances, in your relationships, in your health and vitality? What is it that you want to experience, and what are the rules that you would need to live by in order for that to happen? So say it's money. Say that you are working your socks off to earn money, and maybe you're earning a decent amount of money, but your mind's chaos, and you've got meetings over here and meetings over here, and there's no kind of structure, and everything's a bit wild, and you just want some peace. So what would the rules have to show? What would the rules have to be to bring peace into your life, into your finances, into your business? What are the how do you need to restructure? And then what is the underlying beliefs? What are the underlying emotions that are kind of creating these rules? How can you meet these parts of you with love and acceptance, and sit with them and give them what they need? This is how you're going to change the rules. You need to, and this is going to take time. And I've mentioned before in a previous video, we evolve in a spiral. It's not just going to go boop and you're here and it's all done. It's going to take some time. So you're going to keep on being asked to look at it until, it is going the way you want. So over time, you get to regulate your nervous system to be used to peace. A lot of people, I know, clients and friends, and sometimes myself, find peace boring. So why would you want peace if it feels like boredom? If you feel bored, if you feel like you're stagnating, what if actually it's just peace? What if this is what peace feels like? So peace takes your nervous system some time to get used to, especially if you've spent your life in fight, flight, So yes, give yourself time to make the changes and regulate your nervous system. This isn't going to happen overnight. You might have some early success. You might feel things ease a little bit. You have to keep that going, because the ego eventually, when it catches on to kind of what you're doing, may throw in some resistance. So you have to be extremely conscious, heightened self-awareness as you're making these changes, right? And you really do have to make the changes. You have to have the courage, have the trust to make the changes in your actions, in your daily actions. You know, if you want peace, you have to be strict on what you allow into your diary. If you want more structure in your finances, you have to be disciplined and devoted on like checking your finances, making sure that the money has a safe container to flow into. Like, you have to be devoted to the change in the rule book. And just first, just give yourself permission not to live life how you have seen life be lived. Because life, you get to make your own life. You, underneath the conditionings, like when you're, the more connected you are to your essence, the more connected you are to your true nature, to the self, to your heart, the more free will you have. The more that you're living based on how you've been conditioned, the less free will you have, because you're living based on other people's beliefs, other people's, like what other people have put on you and told you how your life should be lived. No, you get to take that back. You get to take your freedom, your autonomy, your power back and live life your way. Yes, it might take time. Yes, it might take patience. Yes, it's going to be an energetic investment from you. But what if this is the reason that you're here? To realize that you are co-creating this reality, that you get to design life the way you want to live. And in you doing that, you inspire other people to do that. You create a ripple effect of change throughout the world. And if we had more people with a regulated nervous system living the life that they absolutely loved, do you think that we would see nearly as much kind of chaos in the media? Nearly as much pain and fear and suffering? No, because we're all taking self-responsibility, coming into our hearts and making the changes that we can. This is serious work. This is deep, serious work. And it's also your only way to liberation. I hope that this has in some way inspired you to go out and make some changes. Change the rule book. Choose one area, have a little go, change the rules. Let me know what happens. Let me know what area of life that you are changing. Like I say, if you're maybe looking to make some changes in love and money, you can download my free guide to see what is really holding you back from true abundance, from true love. And you can get that in the description below. Sending you lots of love.